Hey everyone, happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Apologies to you, those of you who have been waiting since noon for us to start. I had some technical difficulties, and we just got some breaking news, some breaking footage, and so we wanted a chance to be able to upload that and talk to you about it. But without any further ado, we're gonna skip past. Hello to those of you who are in the chat early,
Yes.
Michael. Blossom Michelangelo, Vince, hope you're still out there or that you joined back in. But we are, I don't think we're not going to wait. We will just go right ahead and jump into recording this. Oh, wow. StreamYard has changed the way everything looks now. Okay, since the last time we logged in. All right, hopefully this works. Here we go.
Hey.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and MEI-Travel. I am Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we're here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what's going on in our own lives. And I had a fairly quiet 4th of July weekend at home. Did not go out and see any big fireworks other than one set off by my neighbors. But I understand you took a little trip this week. So, Carly, what have you been up to?
Yes, I was very excited to head to Dollywood for the grand reopening of one of my favorite attractions of all time, Blazing Fury.
Yay. For anyone who is not aware of what Blazing Fury is, what kind of a ride is this?
Yeah, so it's an indoor roller coaster that's like a dark ride meets roller coaster with very cool animatronics and scenes. And it actually predates Dollywood. So before Dollywood, it was Silver Dollar City. So this
Okay.
ride opened in the 70s. So it is such a very like integral part of the Dollywood experience, and it's today everything is like flashy and new, and this just feels like a time capsule.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was, because they want generations to come to also enjoy it, but to maintain the integrity, it was more of like a cosmetic update. So
Okay.
they redid the track, the sound system, they added a new fog feature at the end, they replaced the costumes on the animatronics throughout the ride. So it's the same ride, it was just given a little glow up.
Gotcha.
So it's the same thing. I love it. It is just, it's so iconic, and just really there's nothing else like it. And since it was 4th of July, they had the local Pigeon Forge Fire Department come to ride it. So I got to ride with some of the firefighters, which was
that's fantastic.
cool. Yeah.
Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's sort of YouTube Inception. This is YouTube of a YouTube that is on our site, Attractions Magazine, and check it out to get a glimpse of that ribbon cutting ceremony.
Yes. I will also say
a POV of the ride.
Yeah, the track is notably smoother. If I tried to film a POV on the old version,
it would just be all over the place.
Somewhere, I definitely would have lost it.
Right.
It is so smooth now. I also wanted to mention, I talked to Eugene, the park president, and I was trying to pump him for information on the attractions coming.
Yes.
And he gave me a few spoilers. He said
he
recently went to Germany to meet with the manufacturers, so that can help us narrow it down to maybe a month. Yeah.
Okay.
And I also asked him, because I was curious if it's going to be a flying theater, because we know it's indoors in a big building, and he was adamant that it's not.
It's so interesting that you say that. Where is Vekoma based? They're in the Netherlands, not Germany.
Yes,
but Vekoma has a family suspended dark ride system that they've got a demo reel for that sounds suspiciously like some of the things they talk about in the promo of flying and then diving underwater. They show a vehicle that does exactly that.
Yes. So he did mention kind of like riding something. He also did mention the Netherlands. So
okay. All right.
I in between.
So we'll see. Yeah, I would be happy either with this new suspended family dark ride concept from Vekoma, or the similar suspended family coaster that Mock has for Arthur and the Invisibles, and How to Train Your Dragon out in the UAE. I think they use it there too.
Yes.
So I think that would be a solid choice. I've been waiting for one of those to come to the States.
Right. He was definitely adamant that it's never been done before.
Okay.
So
All right.
which
Never been
leads
done
to
before
your
anywhere.
yes,
That would
which
imply a
leads to
new
your
ride
first
system.
guess,
Okay.
So we are going to find out soon-ish. So we'll definitely keep everyone posted on attractions. But I am so excited. And an indoor ride, I think, is desperately needed at Dollywood.
Absolutely. Yep.
So with the weather and the rain and, typical Tennessee thunderstorms, the roller coaster's closed. So should be a great addition for families.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you got to go and see that and bring back that footage for
Yes.
us. All right. Well, I think without any further ado, let's jump right into the news in the queue. All right. First off, we are starting off in Massachusetts, where we've got bad news for fans of Six Flags New England who were hoping to ride Quantum Accelerator, their new straddle coaster. Supposed to debut this season, but it has now been pushed off until 2026. And this might be a pattern for straddle coasters.
Yes. I mean, it is. I was a little surprised by the news. We've had so
Mhm.
many other pushbacks from Six Flags recently. So this is just kind of adding to the list. We just hit the 1-year mark of the merger between Cedar Fair and Six
Mhm.
Flags. And a lot of, the hopeful attitude is getting a little crumbled with,
Yeah.
what has been happening and ops.
Yeah, there's been not great news from parks being slated for closure, projects being delayed, and this just kind of definitely adding to the Six Flags woes. The statement from the park is that they say they, quote, won't rush the process and therefore are moving the debut of Quantum Accelerator to 2026 to reflect their commitment to quality, comfort, and reliability. This ride was announced back in August of 2024, and when they did, they said it would open in 2025. It as recently as June of 2025, they said it was going to be opening soon, but they officially announced the delay as of July 1st. So this ride comes from Intamin. Intamin, very popular manufacturer, and they've got a couple other very similar coasters that are also not operating right now. Dark Coaster at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg and Arctic Rescue at SeaWorld San Diego. Both of them are also listed as temporarily closed. So maybe there's some possibility it's a flaw in this particular model.
I will say I did get to go on the SeaWorld San Diego one, and it was
Yeah.
pretty disappointing. I mean, it was just like a one-trick pony,
I had hyped up Dark Coaster in my brain because Curse of Dark Castle was just such a classic. Basically the first time anyone other than Universal had done a real Spider-Man clone that was worthy. And when they gutted that and put what was turned out to be a fairly boring coaster with some really simple lighting effects in a box. But it was a big investment for the park and has not been running lately. Like we said, this is kind of a trend at Six Flags, making it the fourth new coaster within the past 14 months that Six Flags has delayed. There's Top Thrill 2 out in Cedar Point, also the Georgia Gold Rush, Flash Vertical Velocity, and now this one. So hopefully Six Flags will be able to turn it around and get this open in 2026.
Yes. I mean, I don't want to rush a coaster because I want it to be ready.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Not something.
I definitely don't want to be the first one to ride a coaster that was not ready to open.
No.
Next up, coming back here to Orlando, is the Nickelodeon Hotel once again. But this time, the hotel is going to have residential apartments and a SpongeBob restaurant that we have just gotten some additional details about.
Yes, I am much more hopeful for this version. We have seen the
Yeah.
success of the Nickelodeon properties in the Caribbean, and they seem to
Mhm.
be really well loved. I've had
Yeah.
multiple friends go and love it, and it's the same group that is also doing this project.
Excellent. Well, I like you mentioned, the Nickelodeon hotels have a long history, both in Orlando and now in other places around the world. This newest version is coming to Kissimmee, Florida, and it was first announced back in 2023, and then last year we got some more details about it. It's a 400 room hotel. It also has condo units, uh, a water park, restaurants, themed retail, and of course, opportunities to get slimed.
Yes.
This is going in within Everest Place, Orlando, which is a 220-acre development. Yikes, that's massive.
Yeah.
That's coming from the real estate company Tamare Group. It's kind of just west of Disney on 192, near the intersection with State Road 429. So a pretty convenient location. And they announced on July 1st that the SpongeBob SquarePants restaurant will be called Les Spatula. Uh, and the theme, the concept behind the restaurant is this: SpongeBob finally got that coveted Employee of the Month award at the Krusty Krab, and broke out on his own, starting his own restaurant with lots of SpongeBob yellow colors, big iconography, including a sculpture of his hand with a twirly spatula coming out of it. Definitely an eye-popping restaurant. We don't have a menu or anything for it yet, but we've got some very colorful concept art.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's upscale, but it definitely looks like a nicer level
Mhm.
property than the previous
Mhm.
Nickelodeon, which was very, I don't know, basic is the right word, but you know what I mean.
But yes, I mean, it was the original Nintendo Nintendo, my gosh, Nickelodeon hotel here was definitely very much of its time, of the 90s. And this we've got definitely more modern
Mhm.
tile and wood surfaces, to sort of kind of balance out the SpongeBob craziness, with something a little more chill.
You know what? It's my dream aesthetic to live in.
Yeah,
So
right.
you
So,
can.
speaking of balancing out the chill with the craziness, we also have renderings of some of the apartments that are going to be available. If you want to live full time, they're going to have studios, one bedrooms, and two bedroom condos. And I guess I'm not sure if this is a furnishing for a hotel guest room concept, or if you can get your permanent home furnished like this. But
Hopefully.
we got SpongeBob art. We've got colorful, very bright orange carpeting, and a table that has been slimed with green slime. So if you want to either sleep or live full time surrounded by Nickelodeon, then this new property, which is operated by Lion Star Hospitality, might be your dream come true.
Yes. Very curious to learn more about those condos.
Um, as you mentioned, they've also got other Nickelodeon properties in tropical destinations. We got some video of the one at Riviera Maya, and also look back at the history of Nickelodeon in Orlando up on our website. So check that one out. All right. Well, that is going to bring us to the end of our very brief news in the queue.
Yes.
But before we get into our probably much longer main attraction, it's time to hear a word from our sponsor.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MEI-Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
It's time for the main attraction.
All right, for our main attraction, we are heading over to Walt Disney World, where we are pouring one out for one of one of the Magic Kingdom's oldest attractions. Not just an attraction, but an entire area of the park that has said its final farewell. The last day of operation for the Rivers of America, including the Liberty Square Riverboat, as well as the Tom Sawyer Island, was yesterday. And today it is all closed. If you look at the map online, you would think that they drained it overnight and filled it all in with trees overnight.
Yeah,
They've
I
just
got
wiped it out of digital existence. Go check out your My Disney Experience app to see that. But we're going to take one last look at the Liberty Bell and at Tom Sawyer Island. And we're also going to take a little look at what this has now done to the Walt Disney World Railroad, which is doing something that I don't think it's ever done before, that in my living memory at least. So first of all, did you get a chance to say your last farewells to Rivers of America the last time
you know what?
at Magic
I
Kingdom?
did go for a nice little walk. I
Yeah.
didn't, I just love the little wooden bridges on the edge. That was always like a favorite spot to just, no one was ever over there. So I would grab like a Mickey pretzel and just kind of like hang out over there. I didn't go to Tom Sawyer Island. Sometimes I just don't like to say goodbye because I feel like it makes it matter. If that makes sense.
Hear you.
I'd rather preserve the memories in my mind, and I have great ones. Especially from the early 90s when, Aunt Polly's was open with that fried chicken. I'm going to just keep those memories.
Well, I will say, let's start out at Tom Sawyer Island, because he mentioned Aunt Polly's fried chicken. They also had sandwiches. I vaguely remember like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Peanut butter and jelly, Nutella.
And that was one of those very brief things, like always seasonal. Like if Aunt Polly, it's got to be a busy week because Aunt Polly's is open, right?
He had the most sporadic hours of any theme park restaurant I know into existence. It would just be closed for months, open randomly. But that little deck overlooking Haunted Mansion was really nice.
Just beautiful.
Yeah.
Blake Taylor, if it's been too long since you got to go to Tom Sawyer Island, Blake Taylor posted on our website a great photo essay, 80 photos, taking you all the way around the island. Some really beautiful shots. I will say these shots make the island look better than it did in reality in its closing weeks. A lot of elements of the island have deteriorated or been removed over the years, not nearly as badly as over at Disneyland, where like pretty much all the caves on their Pirates Lair have been shut down. Right. But I did get like ankle deep with flooding when I went through this cave for my last time. And the section where you have the bottomless cave where you're supposed to look down and looks like it goes on forever was literally filled up to the top with water. So always drainage issues. And I also got to say that trying to make my last escape from Fort Langhorne by going through that tunnel's a lot skinnier than I remember when I
when I was older.
I'm not nearly as flexible. There's some really definitely not OSHA approved. Like there's no way that that you could build something like this today.
Right. And I think that is the sad part about it, is obviously this Tom Sawyer Island is directly linked to Walt Disney. He didn't see the Disney World version, but he
Right.
firsthand did the blueprint for Disneyland, which is basically almost a copy of. So he's linked to it, and we're just not going to get attractions like this that are meant to like explore and play and use your imagination. It's not going to happen anymore.
Yeah, we're also, I believe, losing the Boneyard, which I guess will be replaced by some other type of playground. But I hate that we lose that kind of freeform imaginative play that is unstructured. And frankly, like, you could set a kid loose on Tom Sawyer Island for an hour and they would just be happy. And it was one of the rare opportunities to just have a break from the cues and the lines. And as you mentioned, there's some great pictures of Aunt Polly's, Harper's Mill. Always had that owl up in the rafters.
Right.
And of course, you got great views, like you said, of the Haunted Mansion and Big Thunder Mountain all the way around. I'm gonna miss it too. I have a lot of great memories, but I had a really great opportunity a few weeks ago. I headed over early one morning to take my last visit. And met up with Tom Nabby, who, if you don't know, he's a Disney legend who on opening day of Disneyland back in 1955 was a little kid living near Disneyland, went to Disneyland's opening day, went back the next day and got a job from Marty Sklar selling newspapers, the Disneyland News on Main Street. And after a year of pestering Walt personally, got hired to play Tom Sawyer when they opened the Tom Sawyer Island at Disneyland.
Wow.
And so he literally grew up on the Disneyland's Tom Sawyer Island, then went into operations, moved to Orlando before Disney World was even open, and helped put the monorail together, and then helped put Tom Sawyer Island together. So there's pictures of him, painting the mill. I've been friends with his son Ken for years, and I wanted to make sure I was there to see him take his last ride. This is him getting interviewed by the archives and D23, and he's got amazing stories. And I got to tell you, it was like 1,000 degrees out there, and we were all dying of the heat. And we're like, "Do you want to take a break? Do you want to go in the air conditioning?" He was like, "No, I'm fine. I can do this all." He walking everywhere ahead of us. It was great seeing him. And you'd think if anyone would be broken up about this closing, it would be Tom. Thank you. It would be Tom. Yeah. So I got pictures of his whole last journey across the water and setting foot on the rafts for the last time. And it is bittersweet, but I did a really great interview with him. He did say that the thing he was going to miss most was Aunt Polly's.
Yeah.
So you're not the only one. But he wasn't shedding a tear. He was glad to see it one last time. But he's also, at heart, he was an operations guy. At heart, he's all about how many guests can we entertain in an hour. And he was, talking about way, back in the day, we would have 6 rafts going back and forth to the island. There'd be a 45-minute wait. This was a big draw back in 1973. It hasn't been for decades. We haven't had the keel boats on the water in decades, or the canoes. It's just on not a matter of how much money do we make per square foot, but how many guests are we entertaining per hour for this acreage. And he was really excited and optimistic about Piston Peak. He said he was a fan of what they did with New Fantasyland, replacing the old 20,000 Leagues. And he said if they do half as well with Piston Peak as they did with that he's going to be very happy. So if it's good enough for him, it's going to have to be good enough for me.
Agreed. No, that's such an amazing outlook, and you got to keep moving forward. I mean, that's
Yeah,
The whole
yeah,
thing that
and
Disney is about. So yes, it's
yes,
upsetting.
yes.
But
There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and even if occasionally our favorite attractions get crushed under the wheels of progress, you know, we got to keep moving forward.
right, I know,
Uh,
and it's also with Florida's unpredictable weather. I mean, you
yeah,
have to take a raft over there. That is not practical at
y-
all. They would never build anything like that today.
no, no, not the most reliable way of moving guests around a theme park
Right.
for sure. Uh,
Accessibility. I mean, there's like a whole laundry list of.
this was my favorite
Oh,
little picture. The archives gave a nabby grabber. If you have ever seen anyone in any theme park with a little stick where they squeeze the handle and it makes it pinch so you can grab things off of the ground, that's called a nabby grabber after Tom Nabby, who put the first one together when they were managing the monorail when it first opened, and guests kept dropping things down on the monorail track. They would have to shut down the whole monorail and lower a person down to retrieve it. And he came up with the idea of putting a clamp on the end of a long stick so that they could grab people's stuff out of the monorail track without shutting down. He should have patented it. He didn't get a patent or anything.
he really should have. I mean,
But
it's
yeah,
genius. And you see in the theme parks today, you see,
yep,
different cast members walking around with them, grabbing
absolutely.
a
Yep.
little candy
They're
wrapper off the ground.
they're ubiquitous, and
Mhm.
so I think of Tom every time I see one of those. So that is going to take us from Tom Sawyer Island next over to the Liberty Square Riverboat, which is joining the island that it circled around in the graveyard of extinct Disney attractions. Once again, we've got a great archive here of 40 photos plus a 20-minute full video. I watched some video of folks getting on the very last sailing, and a little custom announcement that they made. They would always say that this is our 100th trip around the rivers of America, and this time they said it was our 100th and final trip.
Wow. Have you
So
heard what they're going to do with the cast member event, the canoe races? How they
that's
would
an
go on?
that's an excellent question. The canoe races have been a staple
Right.
of the park going back. They still do it at Disneyland, I believe, but even after
Yes.
they stopped having the canoe attraction, they've still had canoe races and the rivers of America very early in the morning. You went to one once, didn't
Yeah,
you?
I got to go last year, and I'm really
Yeah.
thankful that Disney
uh
invited me out because it
your
was
last
so
year.
cool, and that's not going to be at least in the way that we knew it.
No, no, of course not. I can imagine that maybe there's a place at Animal Kingdom or Epcot that maybe you could do something like that. But sure, yeah, it definitely won't be the same without the riverboat and the rivers of America. So head on over, of course, to attractionsmagazine.com to see all those pictures of our last trips around the riverboat and video. And then the last part of this whole puzzle is the railroad train. Walt Disney World Railroad traditionally makes a grand circle tour, stopping in Frontierland and back in the Fantasyland area. But for the next couple of years, who knows how long, until
Yeah, sounds like it.
until both Piston Peak and the Villains Land beyond that are complete, I believe, we are just going to be in shuttle operation. And what that means is that the train is going to go backwards from its usual path,
It's so weird.
going from the Main Street through past Tomorrowland to the Fantasyland station back in the end, back by Storybook Circus, and then reversing direction. I remember when they announced that the Hogwarts Express was going to be a funicular shuttle and that it would go backwards in one direction. People lost their mind. Well, now you're going to see this actual steam train go backwards. So yes, it does happen, folks. It is
Yes,
possible.
it's so interesting. I mean, I will say at least we still have it
Yeah.
because they could have easily just shut
it down.
then,
Well, it was nearly 5 years, I believe, that it was
Yeah.
shut down through the construction of Tron. I
Yep.
feel like we just got the Magic Kingdom's train back not so long ago. I'm also going to spare you the audio track.
Thank you.
So if you want, yes, that's a favor to Carly. If you want to hear the new narration that you hear, go to our YouTube channel and listen to this, because it is a dialogue between the train conductor and Stitch. So depending on your tolerance for Stitch, this will either be the best or worst thing to happen to Walt Disney World Railroad in quite a while.
It sounds like torture to me,
Yeah.
but I know it's love them or hate them. So
Yep.
no judgment.
So no more Grand Circle tours for the foreseeable future. You can just shuttle back and forth between the front and the rear of the park. And the other thing that you won't be able to do is walk on those wooden boardwalks along
My
the
favorite.
walkway.
Yes.
This is breaking from our publisher, Matt. He went out there this morning to take photos. You can already see that the Liberty Bells dock house is being blocked off, and there are fences going up. This one amuses me because it's just like a door to nowhere, just a door floating outside, blocking off
I just saw a
walkways.
video of Big Al knocking on it, and I
Ah!
peed myself because that
love
is
it.
just genius.
I love it. And then, so yeah, these are walls blocking off the walkways down to Tom Sawyer's loading dock, then the exit. So I think it's just a matter of time before we see the water start to drain and we see heavy earth moving equipment start to bulldoze all of that and make way for Piston Peak.
Yes, I can't wait to see what they decide to keep for the archives. I feel like that whitewash fence is so iconic. That has to be kept. I mean, there's so many things to do, but also, a structure that's been around for decades. A lot of times when they do dismantle it,
I'm thinking of when they tried to refurbish the Rainbow Ridge buildings over at Disneyland's Big Thunder Mountain, which date all the way back to Mine Train through Nature's Wonderland, and they just crumbled into dust. And they're like,
I mean,
oops. Yeah, there's only so much when things have been sat outside. But someone better save the owl from inside the mill.
See, that seems like an easy one to save,
Yeah,
yes, the end of an era, but hopefully exciting things coming up, something to look forward to.
Well, we know that according to that planning document that the Central Florida Tourism Oversight Board approved not too long ago, they've got permits now to, build huge expansions, build more parks. They're planning on spending billions of dollars and getting tens of millions more people over the next 20 years. So a lot of development to come in the future. I think now that we're at the end of the show, before we wrap things up, it's time to take a look back at some of our friends who left comments. Michael Bingham, of course, was, as always, was one of the first in. It is definitely an end of an era at the Magic Kingdom, but yes, Michael is excited about the future.
Yes.
Vince Lamb wished everyone a happy 4th of July, of course. Happy to everyone. And we've also got Gemma Jenkins checking in from Wales.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you for tuning in.
Because I was supposed to be in Cardiff last week for Oasis, but our tickets got scammed. So I was looking forward to going to Wales because it looks amazing.
Your tickets, like you purchased them from someone who turned out to be fake?
No, there's a new scam. Be careful out there where hackers get into your Ticketmaster account and then transfer it to their email.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So
wow,
that happened to us. It is a process, but we have made peace with it. But
wow,
God, I just missed the days of lining up at FYE, or
And
coconut.
getting a
Just
physical
getting my
ticket in your
ticket
hand.
and know I have it, and not the stresses of digital tickets. And is it going to work when I
Well,
get
I
there?
I feel like we could do a whole nother podcast
Yes.
episode about that. I hope you at least get your money back.
Well, shame. So we shall see. But yes, I'm so happy that you came in from Wales. I want to
Eh,
go.
Yes, and we're also going to give the final word to Captain Mickey Mouse.
Yay.
Love our videos. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Please keep watching. All right. And before we go, we want to say one last thank you to our sponsor, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And also a reminder, if you haven't picked it up yet, we've got a new magazine out.
Yes.
Our Epic Universe magazine is the ultimate grand opening souvenir for Orlando's newest theme park. It's got 64 pages of photos, vacation planning advice, and behind-the-scenes secrets from all 5 portals: Super Nintendo World, Dark Universe, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, and Celestial Park. It's not every day a new theme park opens in Orlando, so mark the moment and celebrate history with the Attractions Magazine Epic Universe Grand Opening issue, now available at attractionsmagazine.com.
We also want to remind everyone, please give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you happen to listen to us. And please give us a like and subscribe here on YouTube. Also, be sure to follow us at attractionsmagazine.com and search for Attractions Magazine on your favorite social media platform. Carly, where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Yes, I am on Instagram at Adventures by Carly.
And you can find me at S. Kuberski and at The Unofficial Guides, and pick up copies of my books at theunofficialguides.com. Until next week, we hope you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun. And we will see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.